hope you guys had a fabulous holiday with your friends and family and a great New Year's. Hopefully 2020 is off to a great start. So today's video is going to be my favorite beauty products and all of the makeup goodness that I enjoyed from 2019. But before we get into that, I just wanted to take a quick second to say Happy New Year to all of you, and hopefully 2020 is even better than 2019 for you. Hopefully it's an amazing year, and I am very optimistic and positive about 2020. It's a new decade, new year, so I'm excited, trying to stay positive and kind of regroup. I have had some not so great moments towards the end of 2019, and those of you who've been following me know how difficult those last 2 months have been for me, so I'm looking forward to just finding a new norm and proceeding forward in a positive way. And I am looking forward to creating new content for you guys, and just wanted to say thank you for supporting me, supporting this channel, for being here, for watching my videos. It means the world to me. So let's go ahead and get into the makeup favorites video. Today we are doing my favorite makeup products of 2019. I have been doing my favorites for the year for a while now, and I love doing these videos. I love sharing good things with you guys, so this video is a lot of fun, and I'm gonna just stick to the makeup because I have so much of it to share with you, and I do want to make sure that each product gets its designated time, and I don't want to have to kind of speed through everything because I'm including skincare in here. So I think I'm going to leave skincare separate, maybe in a different video, or just kind of mention it in favorites. My last video that I posted was skincare related, like my current skincare stash of what I'm using in my rotation right now, and I've talked about a lot of my favorites in that video, so I may not even do a favorites for skincare because I've got that video, and if you haven't seen it, the cards here in the video will take you straight to that video, and then you can see what's in my rotation, what's good, what's bad, what I'm kind of on the fence about, and kind of fill you in on my skincare routine at the moment. So makeup, I have a lot of makeup, you guys. I love trying new things, and I have tried to stick to my New Year's resolution that I did at the beginning of 2019, which one of the things that I wanted to do was not purchase as much makeup as I used to, because it's just a one-woman show here, you know? So I buy a lot of makeup, and there is so much that I try, things that are sent to me, things that are gifted to me, and there's just no way that I myself can use up the makeup collection that I currently have, which is a much more pared down than what it used to be. I used to have drawers and drawers, and I had to buy specific storage units for these makeup products to accommodate everything because I had so much of it. I pared down my collection, and I feel like everything that I'm sharing with you today fits in one makeup bag, and if I were to just have that one makeup bag and everything went away, I would be perfectly happy, because everything that I'm going to show you are really great products in my opinion. So long intro, but let's get into like the complexion products, foundations, and concealers. So I did a video at the beginning of 2019, probably a few months before my daughter was born, and I remember being super pregnant in that video, and I filmed it downstairs in my dining room, and I talked about lots of drugstore foundations that I was trying, and kind of gave you just quick little details about each of the foundations and what I loved about them. And I have quite a few drugstore foundations in my collection now, but there's just one foundation that I feel like I have continuously used and gone back to. I may try something from L'Oreal for a little while, a few weeks, then come back to this one. I may do my Too Faced Born This Way, which is also a really great one that I love, and then come back to this one. So I found myself kind of circling back to this one foundation, and it is the Physicians Formula, the Healthy Foundation, and I love this stuff. It has an SPF 20. I use the shade LM3, and I have been just so in love with the formula. It's a formula that works for all skin types. It's not really designated for oily skin. It's not super mattifying. It's not super dewy for the dry skin types. It's kind of like right in the middle where a lot of people can get use out of this. And it says all right on the front for all skin types. So there isn't any specific skin type that this is geared towards. It is a light formula. It feels light. It looks great. It has good coverage. I use a damp beauty sponge to apply it, so that tends to sheer out the coverage just a little bit. When I use my fingers, which is very seldom, I do get a much more fuller coverage than with the sponge. Now, I wouldn't say that this is full-on, full coverage, because I do have a lot of breakouts. Let's just take a moment to address it. I am breaking out like crazy in my cheeks, and I just feel like the stress and everything that I've been going through is showing up in my face and I'm breaking out like crazy. So I do have to use concealer with this because this is not quite enough coverage to conceal the redness and like the red purpley marks that are left behind once the breakouts go away. So this is more, I would say, kind of like a medium coverage, but it is a nice formula. It's got some brightening skincare aspects to it, which I love. Concealer. I have a drugstore concealer and it's the Instant Age Rewind from Maybelline. I have used about a little more than half of this tube. I have it in the shade Fair and it's what I'm using today. And by the way, I'm using as many of these products as possible on my face today. And I just love this concealer. I need something for dark circles, for brightening, because many of you know I had a baby in 2019, which is the reason why that year was great. And I have been waking up a lot. Not so much lately. I feel like we're kind of getting somewhere where we're only getting up maybe once or twice a night. Before it was every 2 to 3 hours, and I just looked dead tired. And I needed something to brighten the eye area, especially the under eye, because it just shows when you don't sleep, when you don't eat well, when you're just overloading caffeine, it shows up in the under eyes, and I needed something for brightening, and so I went to this. This used to be an OG favorite of mine many years back, and it's just as great, and it's a fabulous formula because it blends well, it covers, and it makes the under eye area look incredible, even if it's dry, even if you've neglected your skincare routine for the eye area. This looks good. Love it. I do have a high-end concealer, and it is the Too Faced Born This Way. It's the multi-use sculpting concealer. I have it in the shade Vanilla. I bought this because I thought I could not get through the full-size foundation that goes with this, the Born This Way foundation. I did end up going back and buying it. Why? More work for myself. I should have just bought it from the beginning. It's a good foundation. It's a good high-end one if you're interested in that one. So I bought this because the ingredients are very similar to the foundation. I thought I could probably finish up using this entirely as my concealer and my foundation. So that's why I have it in the shade Vanilla, and it's one that matches my skin tone. And you can conceal, contour, highlight, retouch. It's all listed on the back. It's a great one. It is a huge container for a concealer product, but it is a nice formula. It blends well and it lasts, and I do feel like it has really good coverage. This is what I've been using mixed with the foundation to do some spot concealing with my blemishes, my breakouts, because they are very difficult to cover, and it's almost like nothing wants to stick to the blemishes, and it just annoys me. But this is what I've been using to help kind of cover up or kind of tone down the hyperpigmentation of my post-acne marks. I have discovered a lot of great things from the drugstore. I'm looking at my pile, and I have so many things, and I guess I should have started with primers because that's the first step, but I'm not going in any specific order. Maybe I should. Maybe I should have kind of organized everything a little bit better. So we're going to kind of backtrack to primers. I have one primer. I have been using the Too Faced Hangover Primer for the whole year, and I think I started using that back in 2018. So I'm not going to show that today in this video, but it is a good one. I use it almost every single day that I do my makeup. One that I feel like is really good that I recently started using over the course of the last year was the Dr. Brandt Pores No More, the Luminizing Primer. This is something that I normally would have never purchased as someone who is acne prone and has an oily T-zone. Anything that's luminizing for primers, for foundations, for powders, concealers, I don't typically go for those formulas because I do feel like they accentuate oil and they don't really do any favors if you have larger pores. So I kind of stay away from that. I use just very basic primers, but this is a luminizing primer. I have it under my foundation today, and I have been loving the more dewy look, and I feel like I've gotten into that in 2019, more dewy formulas, less powder, and really have enjoyed this formula, and it gives a really beautiful kind of sheen to the skin. It's not super glowy and dewy. It's not glittery. It's not like a highlighter. It's not like a Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector, which is on a whole nother level of sheen. This is something that's just more subdued, where you can actually use this on top of your skincare products and then nothing else over it, and it just gives a healthy glow to the skin, which is why I love it. And it blends well. It doesn't have a super strong scent to it. It's a beautiful kind of just natural glow, as if your skin was in the perfect health that it could have been. and this is really great. The other primer is the Fenty. This is the Pro Filt'r Eye Primer. This is the only primer that I've been using for the entire year. It's really great. I have oily lids, so I always have to prime before using any eyeshadows. Sometimes I can skip it with powder eyeshadows. Depending on the cream formula, I can skip it there too. But I usually always put this on as a insurance policy so that I don't get any creasing and I don't have any weird like fading of my eyeshadows throughout the day, or as the day kind of comes to an end, I can always count on it looking just as good as when I applied it because I used this, and it's really great stuff. So you can get this Fenty Beauty at Sephora. Okay, so I have one setting powder to show you. It's the Boots number 7. This is the Translucent Perfect Light Loose Powder. It's hypoallergenic. It is super dirty. I apologize, and it goes everywhere because it is, well, one, it's not closed all the way, but it is a loose powder, and I use this to set my concealer. I use this to set my eye primer, the Fenty Beauty one. Sometimes I will use this to set my foundation depending on what my mood is for the day, but I try not to use a whole lot of powder, and this is a very thin, lightweight powder. It gets the job done, and it was maybe 12 bucks or so, and it's really, really great. You can get this at Target. My one bronzer that I feel like I've reached for the most is the Fenty Beauty one, and this is the one in the Shady Biz. This was one that came in a set that I got over the summer, and it's one of those little mini ones, and it's really perfect for travel. It's perfect to put in my makeup bag. It's a great color. It is a matte formula. It's more warm tone, and I think maybe the lighting in the camera makes it look a little bit more orange than it actually is. In person, it's a bit warm, but it's not super orange looking, and it's not like that fake kind of artificial look to the skin. I feel like it's a really nice formula. It blends well, and I love the fact that it's matte, and this little one will last me so long because it's pigmented, but you need just a little bit to really kind of add some life and some color, because when I put foundation on, I'm just one tone, and I do need a little bit of color added, and that's where this bronzer comes into play. It's a really great one. Alright, so one of the things that I have discovered are some of the CoverGirl products, and I've kind of circled back to the drugstore, and I found some favorite blushes that I really enjoy. I have one high-end blush that I used a lot when I was pregnant. I just wanted that kind of glow, and it was such a good product. But I'm going to show you the drugstore ones, and it's the CoverGirl Cheekers, like the Instant Cheekbones, and then the Cheekers, which are the individual ones, and then the Instant Cheekbones, if I could talk, are the ones that are trios. And then this one is the Sophisticated Sable, which is my favorite one. And I just mix these two shades here, and I use this lighter one as a highlight. I have a little bit of these two on with the other blush that I'm going to show you, but these I feel like are underrated. They're very pigmented, and they're cheap as chips. I mean, these are like $5, and they are incredibly pigmented. And this one here, this Sophisticated Sable one, has a bit of a satin kind of sheen to it. They're not flat matte like the blush is. This one is just one of the random ones that I picked out of my collection, and it is the shade Classic Pink. And this is matte, and it is so pigmented, and this is just softer, more natural, goes with everything. It could be a blush topper because it has a bit of a sheen to it. I don't know if the camera's going to pick that up, but it's really, really pretty. And then the Classic Pink is just your typical Classic Pink, that it is matte. It looks really bright and crazy and intense, and it definitely can get there. So very light-handed with these, but they're pigmented, and they're like $4 for the singles, I think $5 for the trios. You can't go wrong with them, and I have really enjoyed them very, very much. Now, the one high-end blush that I have been enjoying is the NARS Orgasm. I have this little tiny one, and believe me, this will last a very long time. You think maybe not, but it does. It's a good-sized pan. And this is a cult classic. This has been, I don't know, top rated across the board for many, many years. It's a beautiful peachy pink. It's a pink base with a golden kind of peachy sheen to it. And it is quite shimmery and glowy, but it's not super crazy where it would be a little too much for me, because I do get oily sometimes. Not too much in the cheeks, but sometimes I do get oily, and mostly in like the summertime, and I feel like I could still get away with using this because it's not crazy. So I have that on today mixed with the two darker shades from the CoverGirl. So both of these together are really great, and this is just such a beautiful color. It goes with everything, and it never looks too harsh on the skin. It just blends out beautifully. It's a great formula. Again, that's the NARS Orgasm. Mascara, I'm going to kind of zip through that really quickly. It's the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. This is what I've been reaching for throughout the entire year. This one in the CoverGirl Exhibitionist Mascara, which I actually don't have it. I think I shared that tube in my empties video. So it's a silver tube, again from the drugstore, CoverGirl Exhibitionist Mascara. That and the Lash Paradise is my go-tos for this last year. This one in particular, the Lash Paradise, I've been using it for years. So it's not necessarily a new discovered product for 2019, but it is something that I reached for, so I'm going to talk about it. Alright, so for highlighters, I have a few in my collection that I love, but the one that I've been reaching for the most that I feel like was a pleasant surprise for me in 2019 was the Physicians Formula. These are the butter bronzers, butter highlighters, not the bronzers. This one is in the shade Pearl, and it's the butter highlight, and it's one of the lighter shades. And it's so, so pretty. It's creamy, it's soft, it's like cream to powder. It feels like a powder, feels like a cream, goes on like a powder. It's a really great formula. I'm wearing that today, and I love it, and it smells just like the butter bronzers, and it smells like summer, and I love it. And this is a really pretty, like, light kind of icy color, and I do like that. Sometimes I've used this just as a quick sweep over the lids to add a little bit of sheen before adding mascara. It's great for highlighting. It's great for eyeshadow. It's just a really great formula, and this is the only one that I own from this butter highlighter range. I do want to try some of their butter blushes and see how those are, but I do enjoy that highlight, and I have several highlighters in my collection that I love, but that was the one that kind of surprised me, and I can, you know, sort of look back over the last several months and see that I reached for this one more so than some of my other ones. But I do have a lot of other ones that I like, some liquid ones that are really great from the drugstore, some other high-end ones. So if you want to see like my go-to highlighters, like my current rotation of highlights, I can do that and share that with you. Alright, so for eyeliners, I have a few. The first one is the Clinique. This is the quick liner for eyes. This is what I've been using for the last several months to tight line my upper lash line. It's creamy, it's intense, it goes on really nicely, doesn't tug or pull, and I love that for the waterline because that's a more sensitive area, and this is a really great one. It's very rich, and Clinique is somewhat affordable. It's not super expensive by any means, and you can get this at department stores, Ulta, I think Sephora also carries it as well. So this is a really great one, and I use the black shade. From the drugstore, I have the CoverGirl Perfect Point Plus pencils. I have the espresso one and then the black onyx. I got these at the very beginning of November. I used these many years back. We're talking probably 7, 8 years back. I tried them for the first time and circled back around some old favorites, and I did some videos about that. And I really enjoy these. The smudger is really great, works really nicely to smudge out the formula. It's creamy, it's smooth when it goes on, and it's very pigmented. And I have the black and the brown. I feel like these are two staple colors. I don't really feel like I need anything else, and they were just a few bucks a piece, and I really do enjoy the formula. And like I said, I've discovered some really good things from CoverGirl, so I think I might have to do like my updated drugstore favorites. I don't know. Let me know what you think of that idea, but those are really great eyeliners. For my brows, I have a few products. So the first one, if you've been watching my videos, then you know about the CoverGirl pencil. This is in the shade Rich Brown. It's the thin one. I love this. I've gone through a couple of these already, and I discovered this in 2019, and this is also like one of my top gems from the drugstore, and it coincidentally is from the CoverGirl brand. Love that. Another discovered one that I found in 2019 that I don't think I've talked about this one yet. It's the Revlon Colorstay Brow Pencil, and I have it in the shade Dark Brown. I've been using this over the last few months, and I really enjoy the formula. It's kind of waxy, kind of like a pomade feel to it. It lasts, it has a spoolie on the end, and it blends really well. This shade here that I have is the Dark Brown, so this one matches almost exact to my actual brow hairs, and it is really easy to apply because you can't really tell too much if I follow my natural shape. With this pencil, you can't even tell that I'm actually filling them in because of the fact that this matches my actual hairs. And then this one from the CoverGirl one is just a little bit lighter, but still quite dark, and that's Rich Brown, and both of these are fantastic. Love those. So I feel like I don't have to spend $20+ on a brow pencil anymore because those two are incredible. Now for some brow gels, the Benefit Gimme Brow, I wear the shade number 3. I went back to this in 2019. This was a favorite of mine, I think in 2017, 17, 18? 17 maybe. And I love this, and it's really great. Shade number 3 is perfect. I have that on today with the Revlon pencil. And then for a high end is the Milk Makeup, the Kush Fiber Brow Gel. This was at the bottom of my makeup drawer. This is completely empty, and it's been empty for a few months. And I remember loving this so much. I have the shade Dutch, and it's the dark one. And it is the perfect color. It's got the tiniest little brush, kind of similar to the Benefit Gimme Brow. The formula is incredible. It's got little fibers to help thicken the lashes, but the actual tone is dark, so I feel like I don't even need a pencil with this. It is that amazing. I love it. Try it out. You can get Milk Makeup at Sephora. Now for eyeshadows, this past year I've been doing one shadow looks. I spent the first few months of 2019 pregnant, and then after that obviously having a newborn and doing just very simple one shadow looks because I needed to have a very quick look because I had a baby to take care of that was very demanding. And even still, my daughter's 8 months and she still is quite demanding of my time. So my makeup needs to be quick, straight to the point. I don't have time to like sit down and play with makeup like I used to. So I do rely on really good cream eyeshadows. And this year I discovered the Nudestix. I have few minis from sets. I have full sizes. I absolutely love these. They're creamy. They blend well. I have a video on a collection that I got with collaboration with Hilary Duff, which I will link here if you haven't seen that video. I love these. They are pigmented. They're smooth. They're creamy. They work really great. I have the Smoke Shade, which is the dark one on my lower lash line. I have another cream eyeshadow on my upper lid with some mascara. Just simple. I think that's like the biggest thing for this past year was simple, easy makeup. Things that I could do with my eyes closed, and that's these. These pencils are so great. They're the Magnetic Luminous Eye Colors. Highly recommend these. They're perfect for any time of the year. One shadow looks for creating a base before putting on a powder eyeshadow. It's just, there's so much that you can do with those, and they're really great. Another cream shadow is my Eyes to Mesmerize by Charlotte Tilbury in the shade Marie Antoinette. It's what I'm wearing today on my lids. It is the perfect kind of moussey texture, and it applies really well. It's beautiful. It's kind of bronzy. It's kind of wearable for every day. It's not super dark, but it's not super light and icy looking. It's perfect. It is moussey and kind of like airy, whereas these ones just are, they're creamy, but they're a little bit drier, the Nudestix. These are moussey and they just go on. You can use your finger, or I use a big fluffy brush and just apply a thin kind of sweep of color over my lids, and then I actually blend it into my crease, and this actually looks like I'm wearing multiple shades, one on the lid and one in the crease, when it's just really one color. And it could not be easier, and the formula is just beautiful on these. I love these, and I got mine at Sephora. You can also get it on the Charlotte Tilbury website. For lips, my favorite go-to lip liner is the NYX Mauve, is what I'm wearing today. I've lined and filled my lips and then just put a simple lip balm over the top. Really have enjoyed that. But I've been pairing it with the Revlon Plumping Lip Cream in the shade Barely Blush. So in my last several videos of 2019, this was the lip combo that I was wearing. This is a lip combo that I wore in my family portraits that we did in December, and what I wore for the holiday. I just love it. It's the perfect combination. The plumping aspect is just a little bit of warmth. It's not stinging, it's not burning, it's not ripping your lips off. It's not that big of a plumping aspect, but I do like the color. It's pigmented and it's glossy. And it's affordable from the drugstore. So these two have been my go-tos. I have a lot of other lip products that I love, but those are the ones that I've been reaching for the majority, like the tail end of 2019. So love those. You can't go wrong with either of those. And the NYX lip liner is really great. You do have to sharpen it. It's not one of those automatic like retractable ones. You do have to sharpen it. It's the traditional lip pencils, but it is great, and it's like $3, and it goes with everything. I could use this with the most pale nude that I own, which I do have one from Cab Cosmetics that I cannot wear on its own, and this comes and saves the day. And it's a really great kind of everyday color, the NYX Mauve. Alright, so that is it. Those are my favorites for makeup. Those are my standouts. Like, if this is all I had, I would be happy because I feel like I could do a lot with these products. And I hope that if you try any of these out, they become some of your staple and favorite items. If you'd love to share your favorites from 2019, let me know in the comments section. I love hearing from you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, for watching, for supporting. Check the description box. Everything will be listed down below for you. Don't forget to follow me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. I'm there pretty regularly. And subscribe and hit the notification bell so you get notified when I post new videos. And again, thank you so much for being here, for being you. And I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye.